Hello everyone, welcome back to James Parker Sculpture here on YouTube. In this video I'm going to begin shaping and cutting glass in order to make an egg sculpture in time for Easter, which is only 1 week away. I want to say right at the beginning that this video is mainly about the technical aspects of cutting glass and how I go about that. Later on in the week I'll show a video of me actually building the sculpture and then completing it in time for Easter. If you've never visited my channel before, then this is the kind of thing you can expect to see when you visit. So if you watched the video that I posted just the other day, you'll know that this is 10mm float glass. It's just the same glass that you would find in windows, and this is the glass that I primarily use for my sculptures. I've had a really good think to myself what size of sculpture I want to make, because I know that the egg is going to be 35 centimeters wide. What I'm going to do is put this glass into halves and then try and get 3 circles out of each piece of glass. So in my previous video I shared with you guys the fact that I used to cut glass by shaping it with a hammer. If you've not seen that, then go back and watch it. I'll put a link at the end of this video, and I also explain how I came to work with glass and some of the reasons behind why it appeals to me. So you'll be relieved to know that I've moved on from working with a hammer to shape glass now. I do use a hammer sometimes, and you may well see me resort to using a hammer during this video, so don't hang me out to dry if I do. Anyway, this is a glass cutter that even people that are used to working with glass as a hobby at home will be quite familiar with. There's a wooden handle here, it's got a brass connection here, and at the end we have a tungsten carbide cutting wheel. You may be able to see that here. It's only about 3 or 4 millimeters in diameter, and it is allowed to spin round as the glass cutter is passed across the surface of the glass. Here I have a slightly more sophisticated version of the same tool. This is much better quality. It's brass here, and it's got a reservoir inside which can be accessed here, which you fill with oil. The oil travels up through the reservoir and into behind the wheel. When the wheel turns, it gets coated in oil, and then the oil can also help to fill the cut and open it up. Also, another advantage of this tool is that the head can turn and rotate, so that if I wanted to cut a curve, it can follow the curve much more easily, where a lot of glass cutters are really more suitable for cutting in a straight line. So I've lifted the glass up to the right height. As I said, it is pretty heavy, so you want to have it at the right height so that you can catch the offcut quite easily. These offcuts will only be maybe about 15-20 kilos, but still you want to make sure that you're as safe as possible, and if it's easier to catch it as it breaks off, then that's got to be good. Today I've really prepared hard. I've got a right glove and a left glove, which is always an advantage. So here I have a T-square, which I'm just going to place across the surface of the glass like this. So now that I've measured out, I've put my T-square halfway up the glass, and I'm going to use the glass cutter to score a line. So now that I've scored the glass, I could just pull it off the edge of the palette and apply force, and it would likely just break in the right place. Better to be safe than sorry. What I'm going to do is just gently open it up from one end and then gently tap it from underneath. So a few years ago I had a really big sculpture to make. You might have seen it. It's a glass cone, and I was really concerned about wasting too much glass. So what I purchased was this special tool from Germany. You can place it against the surface of the glass like this, but on the other side from below. It's got a rubber seal here around the surface of the head that you plant on the glass, and so it doesn't bounce when you strike the glass. It's calibrated so that you can change the dial here from minimum round to maximum, and it basically changes the force at which the glass is struck. So the first thing to do is turn the setting to minimum. I place the head of the hammer against the lower surface of the glass directly below where I've scored the upper surface, and then pull the trigger. Now that's not opened the cut at all. I then turn the dial up one so that it strikes the glass a bit firmer. Now perhaps you can see here where the glass has just started to open up underneath. Now that it's opened up right out to the edge, I'll pull the glass out a bit further and continue to open the cut up. Now I'm going to do exactly the same at the other side. Pull the glass over the end of the table. Place the head against the glass and then strike. Again, it's refusing to open up, so just turn the dial up once. Once the cut's opened, I can turn the dial back down again. I don't want to apply more force than's required. With a straight line like this, there's not really any need to open that cut all the way up. I can pull this out, apply some force, and it will break in the right place. Famous last words. And there we go, we have quite a neat break. Don't know what the weather's like where you are, but it's cold here today. So let's get on and get the rest of the glass cut. Right, so now that I've cut the glass to a much more manageable size, the next job is to begin cutting circles. In order to do that, I use this tool. The principle behind this tool is that it's got a suction cup in the centre. Suction can be applied by using this handle. It's got a calibrated arm here which spins through 360 degrees, and it can be adjusted here to various different sizes. When I'm using this tool, whatever size diameter of circle I'm cutting, I try to leave 10% of that diameter between the edge of the circle and the edge of the glass, and that means it's much less likely to break unpredictably out towards the edge of the glass. So now that I've got this set to the required diameter, what I do is I start directly in from one of the corners. I don't want to start here, it's applying too much stress to the edge of the glass. So I start here and applying about 15 kilograms of force, I just rotate it through 360 degrees. Just like that. And because I want the egg to be hollow, I now move this in a bit further and I can cut another circle out of the centre. Now that I have my lines nice and neatly scored, it's time to start knocking these circles out. So now that I've tapped all the way around this circle, you can actually see that the circle is completely formed. It just needs released from inside that glass. If I just take the camera and show you on the edge here, you can actually see that the circle is broken all the way through. You can actually see that the circle is broken all the way through. Because the circle is such a tight fit, there's no way of getting it out there without making cuts around the edge and pulling pieces of glass out in order to release this. So that's what I'm going to do now. So after making a few cuts and breaking them through, I'm ready to remove these sections of glass and retrieve the circle from inside. Right, so here now that I've cut this circle out, you can really see the difference between the effect I've created here and the hammered effect that I created in the first video. Here you can see that it's much smoother. It will need to be sanded down with a diamond pad, but it really is a lot smoother and it's much more fluid-like than the first look that I showed you. Now if you're watching this video with a view to cutting circles of glass for some other means, then that's exactly how you do it. However, for the purpose that I'm using it for, I want to now break this circle into various sections as I'm going to use those pieces to build my egg. So let's go ahead and do that. Right, so now that I've cut this one circle out, I've got about 49 or thereabouts more to go. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope you come back to see the next installment, to see how much of the egg I've actually built, and hopefully we will have this ready in time for Easter. Stay healthy, take care, and I'll see you again soon.